Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the easiest legends to main in Apex Legends, because I figured there's a lot of new players that have come to Apex ever since Season 9 launched, and a lot of returning players just like myself. And there's a lot of people that are thinking, I just don't know what legend should I main. I don't know who to main. So I figured that I'd come up with a list of 3 legends that I think are the easiest to main. Also, I'm going to take into consideration how good that legend actually currently is. This kind of is going to be specific for Season 9, but it probably will be relevant in Season 10, 11, and 12, depending on how big of a change each of these legends receive. They may get major nerfs, they may get major changes that might make them even more relevant. So that's something you've got to take into consideration. But either way, let's get straight into the video. Before I talk about the first legend, I just want you to know that this isn't going to be in any kind of order. This is just going to be 3 legends that I think are the easiest ones to main. I will be giving my opinion at the end as to which one I would choose if I was to come back. That doesn't necessarily mean that is the best one. It's mainly just a personal opinion. If you guys are really stuck which one to pick, maybe that might help, and I'll talk about it a little bit. I also want to say that just because I say that the easiest legends to main doesn't mean that it takes any kind of skill or credit away from players that play them. You can have some of the best players in the world play these legends, and they play them for a reason. It's because they're good. That doesn't mean the player is any worse or any better than that. It is purely just legends that are easy to pick up. To master a legend, you need to be good. End of. Other than that, let's get into the first one. The first legend I want to talk about is Lifeline. Now, Lifeline is an OG character, and she's been in it since the very start of Apex. She's gone through a hell of a lot of changes, but I still think she's extremely good in the current meta. Lifeline has a lot to offer to a team, and it is always nice playing alongside a Lifeline. So that's one reason to pick her alone. But we're going to talk about her skills now. Her passive, Combat Revive. It allows you to deploy a drone to revive teammates whilst you are able to do what you want in the meantime, whether it be loot, whether it be fight off other enemies. This is the hardest part to master about Lifeline, without a doubt. But just because it's hard to master, that doesn't mean that it's a hard legend to play. Every legend has to have something in their kit that is hard to master, otherwise they wouldn't be a good legend. That's why the players at the highest level make these legends look so good. Is because they have mastered them. Now, the reason it's hard to master this is because you don't know whether or not you should revive, because when you do revive with the drone, it does leave your teammate completely vulnerable. It can't be cancelled, they can't use their knockdown shield. So if you don't have a respawn beacon near, sometimes you gotta think twice about whether or not you should revive yet, or whether you should revive after the fight. Now, her tactical ability, on the other hand, you can't really go wrong with this. It allows you to deploy Doc to heal you over time. This will heal your health, not your shields, and it will be available to all of your teammates as well. But also keep in mind, enemies can also come up to this drone and heal from it. Obviously, it's not really something you're going to have to worry about too much, because if they're healing on your drone and you're also healing on your drone, chances are you're already fighting to the death anyway. But this is something that's really nice because it gives you access to white heals when you don't have to actually carry them in your inventory. Last but not least, her ultimate care package. Now, this is just a self-care package that you get to summon in whenever your ultimate's ready, but it's not going to give you exactly the same items as what care packages do that just spawn, as the match goes on. But this will give you access to a lot of helpful loot throughout the game, and it will allow you to gear up without necessarily having to find the loot or fight people for the loot. So if you're more of a passive player, this can really help. Even if you aren't a passive player, you might fight loads of people, but they might not have what you need. Now, this recently got a buff where it gives you a guaranteed upgrade. So when you bring that care package in, let's say everything you have on your character is purple. You are guaranteed to get a gold item in that care package. It could be anything. It could be a gold helmet, it could be a gold knockdown, it could be a gold backpack. So it is really good for that, because it allows you just to upgrade throughout the game, regardless of whether or not you are finding these items through fights, through looting, or just through any kind of means. So the ultimate care package is, honestly, it is an ultimate care package. It's really nice. The only thing you're not going to be able to get from it is, of course, things like Cravers, Prowler, Triple Take, or whatever care package weapons are currently in the rotation. Now, overall, after looking at Lifeline's toolkit, you can see that she does have a very passive toolkit, and that's why I think she's one of the easier legends to main, because there's nothing you have to worry about in a fight. All of her abilities are used either before or after fights, or in between fights. It's not something you have to worry about whilst you're fighting. And that's one of the main things I've taken into consideration when looking at this list. It's something that you don't have to worry about. It's not something that, that is game changing. If you don't do it in the fight, that's it, you've lost. So that's why I think Lifeline's really easy to main, because you don't have to worry about anything during a fight. The second legend we're going to be talking about is Octane. Now for me, Octane is one of the, if not the most enjoyable character to play in Apex. He has so much movement capability, and it's just so satisfying to launch yourself off of his launch pad every time you have it. It's just, honestly, it's so fun. And for me, that's a reason alone just to play Octane, just so you can have the launch pad on your team every game. But we're going to look at his skills, and I'm going to let you know what I think about them. Octane's passive, Swift Mend, has to be one of the best passives in the game. While not taking damage, Octane restores health over time. Now, this doesn't mean shields, this is just health, but it allows you just to go about your day and heal without having to pop a syringe, without having to pop a medkit. It just allows you to heal whilst not doing anything. Like, that's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't mean you're going to be healing during combat if you're getting shot at, of course. It's only if you're not taking damage. If you take damage, it'll reset. There'll be a timer. Once the timer is reached, it will allow you to heal again. So there is a cooldown of it. Take that in mind. But the fact that you can just heal with never actually having to pop a syringe or a medkit is absolutely fantastic. Personally, when I play Octane, I don't carry around medkits. I just take syringes, because half your HP gets healed anyway just through his passive. Octane's tactical is, of course, the hardest part to master about his character, because you do lose health when using it. Stim increases walk speed by 30% and sprint speed by 40% for 6 seconds. It costs 20 of your health to use, that's 20% of your white health, but it does give you a reduction to slows while active. So something like caustic gas, there's a slight reduction to it, so you're not as slow as other characters if you are stimmed. But of course, you have to take 20 damage to be able to use it, and it will only last 6 seconds. The reason this is so hard to use is, of course, if you put yourself down to really low HP, then you get into a fight, you kind of screwed yourself. So it's known when and when not to use the stim, but this stim allows you to do so many things with Octane. You can do fast flanks, you can get away from fights. There's so many things, you can get to positions before people think you can be there. Octane is such a mobile character, and it can be really frustrating to fight against him, because he can just run away whenever he wants, or he can just flank you whenever he wants, and he'll get there so fast you just don't expect it. He is really nice to play, especially because of the stim, but keep in mind, you will take a lot of damage if you just keep pumping that stim. Now, Octane's ultimate launchpad, spoke about it before, so fun to use. It's a deployable jump pad that catapults users through the air. Users can press their jump key to double jump whilst in midair. Now, what's so fantastic about this is it's available to all your teammates. It's not just yourself, but enemies can also use it. Also, keep in mind the launch pad can be destroyed, so if you throw it out in front of you, a team could all just laser beam it and destroy it. It has roughly 200 HP, so do keep that in mind. Now, the way it works is if you slide into the launch pad, it is going to send you further, but if you just sprint into it, it's going to send you higher. So there's kind of different arcs you can get when you're pushing onto a building. Sometimes you'll need to slide into it to reach somewhere, sometimes you can't slide into it, otherwise you won't get enough height. And a neat little trick is if you stand a tiny bit away from the launch pad and you melee into it, in the middle of the animation, if you hit the launch pad, you will go directly up. This is a really nice trick if you're standing next to a vertical build, let's say epicenter. If you're in the middle and your launch pad is just below it, you can get really high and reach the top. So that's something to keep in mind. Overall, Octane's kit is a very aggressive kit. Now that's completely different to Lifeline, but that doesn't mean he's hard to main. Just because he's more aggressive doesn't mean he's harder to main than a passive character. A lot of the stuff that you're given access to here will allow you to do things that other legends won't. It will allow you to get into positions that other legends won't. But it's not mechanics that are hard to do. It's simply throw down a launch pad, jump on a team. Stim, get somewhere faster. It's not mechanics that require a hell of a lot of skill. Other than that, like I said, be careful with the stim. That is the hardest part to master, because if you stim too much, then you're just going to get yourself killed. But don't be afraid to stim, because if you never use your stim, it's a wasted tactical. I find this champion fairly easy to main because it allows you to realize when you've made mistakes, and if you have made a mistake, you can kind of just use your tactical to get out of there. That's something for me that's really nice, having access to an ability that allows you to get out there. Otherwise, like for example, Lifeline doesn't have anything to get you out of a dangerous situation when you've made a mistake. Octane will allow you to do that. Some people say, maybe that's not good, you need to realize when you make a mistake, but most of the time you will realize you've made the mistake and you're queuing because of that and you're getting out of there. That's why I feel like overall Octane is really good, but do keep in mind you're very easy to shoot out of the air if you do decide to launch pad onto a team. The last character we're going to be talking about is Bloodhound. Now Bloodhound's slightly different to the other two legends because he technically has two passives. His first passive is Tracker. Foes leave behind clues for you to find. This will basically leave like footprints behind, and it will say how long ago an enemy was there. So you'll see if someone mantles something, there'll be like a little mantle icon where they mantled, and if you aim it, it will say, so like, I don't know, 10 seconds ago, for example. And the more the red bar is filled, the more recent it was, so you don't necessarily have to look at the clue to realize how long ago someone was there. This is great for tracking people if you're chasing down a team. It's always nice to be able to get that last player out so they can't come back and revive or get the banners and respawn their teammates. But his other passive is Recon. Now this isn't something that's fantastic to new players because of the way the game plays, but it allows you to scan survey beacons which are dotted about the map, and it will reveal the next circle location. So you'll see your circle on the map and the zone will be closing in, and if you was to go up to the survey beacon and use it, you'll be able to see a green circle inside of the current circle as to where the zone is going to go next. This is really good to use as soon as one zone closes in. As soon as it finishes closes in, use the survey beacon. You've got all that information, all that time to rotate to the next zone. This isn't really used in public games. It can be fantastic in ranked if you're not sure where the zone is going to go next, so you can get in prime position to win the match. Moving on to Bloodhound's tactical, Eye of the Allfather. This is an extremely powerful ability in the current meta. It gives you so much information and allows you to win fights purely by pressing this button, which is absolutely crazy. Now that's why I feel like it is one of the easier legends to main, because it gives you access to so much more than a lot of other legends offer. Basically, you press Q or whatever your tactical keybind is, and it will briefly reveal enemies, traps, and clues through all structures in front of you. This has a very big radius, and it will show a silhouette of a player if they are in front of you within that radius. If a team is above you, you do have to look up and use it, same as for below. Like it says, it's in front of you, so it's the direction you're looking in. This will also show to all of your teammates. This is absolutely fantastic because if you're pushing a team and you're not 100% sure where they all are, you can press Q, you'll see where they all are, and you'll know exactly how to take the fight. This is absolutely fantastic, especially when playing with teammates, because you can communicate more, obviously. Everything's better with teammates, we all know that. But this gives you so much power as a team, and it's really simple to use. You see a team, you're about to fight them, you Q, you know where they are, you fight them. Really fantastic. Bloodhound's ultimate, Beast of the Hunt, transforms you into the ultimate hunter, enhances your senses, allowing you to see cold tracks and move faster. Knockdowns extend the duration. Now when you use this ability, it's going to do a lot of things. It's going to turn your game grayscale for a start, but all enemies are going to be highlighted red, like heat. It's very similar to a digital threat, but it's like your whole screen. It's also going to make your movement speed significantly faster, and like I said, it's going to extend the duration every time you get a knockdown. Also, it's going to reduce the cooldown of your tactical ability, Eye of the Allfather, so you can really spam out those scans. So basically, this is a very aggressive ultimate, but it can be used defensively because of the movement speed. But your character does produce a lot of sound when he uses this ultimate, so a lot of teams will hear it coming, and they'll also be able to hear your character because he'll passively make him more sound, even if he's just standing still. So it's not the best ultimate to hide with, but it's really good at getting away, and it's also fantastic at chasing teams because you're going to be able to scan constantly to know where they're going. You're going to constantly see their tracks. You literally see their footsteps. It's insane. This ultimate is by far one of the best ultimates in the game right now. It is absolutely fantastic, not only for yourself, but also for your team. But also, because it's so good, it does come into that, that category of hard to master. This is going to be something where you're sometimes going to use an ultimate and it's going to be completely wasted. Because if a good team knows what to do, they'll be able to make sure they'll be able to, buy time until your ultimate's gone. So that's something to take into consideration when you do have that ultimate available. Don't always just pop it. try to learn when and when not to use it, because that's such a strong part of Bloodhound's kit. To become a really good player with Bloodhound, you've got to know exactly when to use it. But still, just popping it, it's going to help you, it's going to give you information, so you can't go too wrong with it. Overall, Bloodhound's toolkit is similar to Octane's in the sense that it is more of an aggressive toolkit, unlike Lifeline's. But like I said before, sometimes you're more of an aggressive player than a passive player, so this will suit you more. Like I said, his ultimate can be used defensively as well. Bloodhound gives you access to a lot of information, and information wins fights. A lot of time in Apex, if you don't know where someone is, you've lost the fight already. So the amount of information you can gather from playing Bloodhound, and the amount of information you can give your team, which is also fantastic, because it's not just you that needs to know, it is a team game after all. So if you can supply so much information for yourself and for your team, you're going to be winning so many more fights, and you're going to be knowing what's going on around you a lot more. So overall, I think Bloodhound is definitely one of the easiest legends to main, but if you want to master them, you're going to have to put in a hell of a lot of time, because if you look at the top players for Bloodhound, they are on another level. They are absolutely insane. And there we have it. The 3 legends that I feel are the easiest to main in Apex Legends and pick up if you're a new player or a returning player, and they all have time requirements if you want to become the best. That is of course obvious. I've said that in most of the clips, you know, if you want to become the best, you're going to have to put in time, but that's just the way it works. But they're very easy legends to pick up, they're very easy to get good with, but to become the best, of course, that's always a different conversation to be had. But if I had to pick one, if I was to come back as a new player, or if I was to come back from previous seasons and I hadn't had a main, or I wanted a new main, Bloodhound for me would be the choice. Bloodhound is so strong in the current meta. It's my playstyle. It's an aggressive playstyle. I love to play aggressive. I love information. I love, you know, when you play with a team, if you're able to give your team callouts exactly where enemies are. Callouts are fantastic for the team. There's nothing, you know, better than having a teammate say exactly where an enemy is or exactly how low he is. That way you've got all that information in your head and you know exactly what to do next. So for me, if I had to pick one, this is just personal opinion, like I said, I don't think he's better than the others. It's just for me. I personally would pick Bloodhound because I think Bloodhound is fantastic because it gives you access to, you know, so much information that other characters can't. But that is where we're going to end the video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. If it's any of these legends, if you agree with any of the legends, or if you've got another legend, let me know. If there's a really good comment, I'll pin it so other players can see as to whether or not it's a different legend, or, you know, a tip you may give. And don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy content like this. I'm going to be uploading loads of content, guides, gameplay, shorts, all kinds of things on Apex Legends. But thank you for watching the video, and thank you for sticking through to the end. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.